Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, lion lion besimcha. Siva gedola, lion lion besimcha. Siva gedola, lion lion besimcha. Siva gedola, lion besimcha. Siva gedola, lion 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 besimcha. Be the reason someone smiles. 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 Siva gedola, lion besimcha. Siva gedola, lion lion besimcha. Siva gedola, lion lion besimcha. Siva gedola, lion besimcha. Someone smile. Be the reason someone smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone smiles.
Breakfast with Elli.
Mode ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shechazarta bi nishmati b'chemla raba emunatecha.
Hi,
עיני uni bunechu ve'atu vini ayuni avodechu ve'atu adonayni uni keyulechu ve'atu chelkaini.
Good Moed, and welcome to Breakfast with Elli. It is Wednesday, the 12th day of October, the 17th day of Tishrei, the first day of Chol Hamoed Sukkot, the intermediate days of Sukkos. Torah portion is Vizos HaBracha, HaYom Yom Revi'i L'Shabbos, the fourth day, counting up towards Shabbos. We're learning the fourth Aliyah. Happy Sukkot, Chol Hamoed. It is a wonderful day. Moedim l'simcha, a good moed. Everything should be wonderful. It's a shnas hakel. We just watched the drone video going through the sukkahs of Crown Heights. We'll have more of that one tomorrow. Yeah, there's more. That's exciting. It's looking at all the sukkahs in Crown Heights. You know, it's one thing I always wanted to do. I always wanted to take a camera and make a photo, make a photo collection of all the sukkahs in Crown Heights, because there's so many of them. I mean, almost every home has a sukkah, which is unbelievably wonderful. How was your sukkot? Oh my goodness, ours was so wonderful, so beautiful. The weather's so gorgeous. Thank you, Hashem. Unbelievable. I want to hear about your sukkah's experience. Did you eat in your own sukkah? Did you go to a friend's sukkah? Did you eat in the shul sukkah, which I know some people do as well? So lots of stories. I want to hear them all, okay? Send me messages. Contact me. I'm ready. All right, men and boys, grab your two front sitters. Let's make a bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit.
All right. Al divrei Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah.
All right. Hareini Mekabel. Good morning, Eitan.
Hareini Mekabel alai mitzvat aseh shel ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
All right, Torah Tziva Lanu.
Torah tziva lanu Moshe morashav morasha keilat Yaakov. Torah tziva lanu Moshe morashav morasha keilat Yaakov.
All right, time to give tzedakah, and we're giving a little extra today. Where is it? There we go.
I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else to keep.
All right,
Yeah,
we're doing for today. We're giving
the
for
tzedakah
a
box.
little
I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else in need.
All right, tzedakah has been given. Now it is time to say the Shema. Everybody put your hand over your eyes as we say the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Yes, I am. All right, Tea Time has something to say. Hold on, I gotta raise the volume because I have it off. Okay. Yes, I am. Yeah, that's a problem. We get feedback over here. That's why I like to use the chat. All right, Tea Time has something to say. Hold on, I gotta raise the volume. All right, you want to try it? You can try it. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. All right, what does Tea Time want to tell us? Actually, didn't realize. It's all right. It's okay. It is live. It is live, and we're recording it simultaneously. All right, now we're not going to make a bracha shakol because we eat everything in the sukkah. So, if you are not having everything in the sukkah, you're more than welcome to make your own brachot. But the custom is to eat as much as you can in the sukkah. So we're going to pass on that today. And we're going to go straight to today in Jewish history. Oh, okay. She has nothing to say. All right. That's all right. That's all right. So that's why I'm here. All right. The 7-day festival of Sukkot consists of 2 days of Yom Tov, holiday, followed by 5 days of Chol Hamoed, weekdays of the festival, and the intermediate days. And then Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah close out the Yom Tov. In the land of Israel, it was only 1 day of Yom Tov, followed by 6 days of Chol Hamoed. On Yom Tov, all creative work is forbidden, as on Shabbat, except for the tasks involved in food preparation. And that allows you to light a fire from a pre-existing flame, to cook, to carry from public to private domain. But on Chol Hamoed, we do work whose avoidance wouldn't result in significant loss. Okay, if it would result in significant loss, it is permitted, and if it would not result in significant loss, it is forbidden. Otherwise, all the mitzvahs and customs of Sukkot apply: eating in the sukkah, taking the lulav and esrog, saying the Yalav V'Yavo prayer in the grace after meals, Hallel, Hoshanas, Musaf, all done during Chol Hamoed. Now, in Chabad, we do not put on tefillin during Chol Hamoed, as we don't on Shabbat and the festivals. And the reason for that, yes. Let's see. No and yes. I'm sorry, I'm being messaged here. Okay. Yes, we don't put on tefillin. There's a lot of details on why not. It has to do with the fact that we say musaf. And when we say the musaf prayer, we say the keser, the crown portion of the musaf prayer. And it says you don't wear 2 crowns at once. And that's one of the reasons we don't put on tefillin. There are many other reasons, but we don't do it. Now, the festival of Sukkot, commemorating Hashem's enveloping protection of the children of Israel, 40-year journey through the desert, is celebrated for 7 days, beginning from the eve of the 15th of Tishrei. Now, during this time, we are to dwell in a sukkah, a hut of temporary construction, with a roof covering of raw, unfinished vegetable matter, branches, reeds, bamboos, leaves, which all signify the temporality and fragility of human habitation and man-made shelter, and our utter dependence on Hashem's protection and providence. It says that we should live in the sukkah both day and night, as one lives in one's house on the other days of the year. For 7 days, a person should make his home his temporary dwelling and his sukkah his permanent dwelling, according to the Shulchan Aruch. All right, now, we do not eat or drink anything outside of the sukkah, but the mitzvah of eating in the sukkah applies to the first and second days of Sukkot. There are foods that do not have to be eaten in the sukkah. Those you are allowed to. Just some people choose not to. Each day of Sukkot, we take the 4 kinds. The only exception is Shabbat. The splendid fruit of a tree, the fronds of dates, the branch of the thick leaf tree, and the aravot of the river. Now, the oral tradition given to Moshe at Sinai, later documented in the Mishnah and the Talmud, identifies these 4 kinds as the esrog, the citron, the lulav, an unopened palm branch, the hadass, the myrtle twig, of which 3 are taken, a rava willow, 2 twigs, and the palm branch and myrtle and willow are bound together with rings made from the palm frond. All right. We recite a blessing over it, take hold of the lulav, and we shake it together back and forth in all directions, right, left, forward, up, down, and back. All right. It is also the time of Simchat Beit HaShoeva. When the Holy Temple stood in Jerusalem, one of the special Sukkot observances was to pour water on the altar. The drawing of water for this purpose was preceded by an all-night celebration in the temple courtyard. Of the 15 steps leading to the Azara, the inner courtyard, stood the Levites playing a variety of musical instruments. The sages danced, juggled burning torches. Huge oil-burning lamps illuminated the entire city. The singing and dancing went on until daybreak, when a procession would make its way to the Shiloach spring, which flowed in a valley below the temple, to Shafte Mayim Bisasain Mimayne HaYeshua, to draw water with joy from the well. The Talmud tells us one who did not see the joy of the water drawing celebration had not seen joy in his entire life. And today we commemorate this with celebrations in the streets, music, dancing, initiated by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. We should also have these celebrations on Shabbat and Yom Tov, but without the music portion. All right, that's very important. All right, I have a little video I can show you. Let me just prep it so that we don't get stuck here. Let's see. I know it's here. Hold on. I know it's here. I know it's here. Relax, I'll find it. All right, here we go.
חב"ד בראשון לציון. אני קיבלתי את ברכתך לפני ניתוח קשה, לפני שנה ומשהו. אם אני יכול לקבל ברכה, שיהיה לי יותר טוב אחרי הניתוח.
הניתוח כבר עבר.
הניתוח עבר לפני שנה וחודשיים, וקיבלתי את ברכתך לפני שעשיתי ניתוח קשה.
כבר רקדת בשמחת תורה ואחרי זה.
הרב שואל אם את לא עשה ריקוד בשמחת תורה אחרי הניתוח.
לא, עשיתי סעודת מצווה, אבל לא בשמחת תורה.
It's a movement that I saw personally.
ידוס פסקדם בבריאס הגוף והלחץ כמה וכמה בבריאס הנשמה בלימוד התורה וקיום המצוות. setzt in die Zaka, in Israel בבריחת השם. זה האישה שלו.
בריאות וחיים טובים לבעלי ולילדיי. הצלחה לבן שלי, ובריאות בעסקים, והצלחה בפרנסה. לבת שלי והבן שלי שנמצאים בארץ.
טסתי לסבל שלו, שביקשתי שירקת, תדורוש, בזמחת תורה, הבא עלינו לטובה.
אמן. תודה רבה.
טובה.
תודה רבה.
שתצליח אצל הבעל.
תודה. זה של הבעל. תודה רבה.
There you go. That was Rebbe remembering every person he encountered. All right, HaYom Yom for today, the 17th day of Tishrei.
In the HaYom Yom for the 17th of Tishrei, the Rebbe writes that through the Avodah of Nisyonos, of being tested and passing the test, this reveals the Yechidah within the soul. As it says, Chavuka udvuka boch, that part of the neshama that is bound to God, through this is teyanes ulach, we are able to carry, to bear the yoke of Torah and mitzvahs with Mesiras Nefesh. And the result is Yechidah liyachadoch, that the Yechidah of the Nefesh, of the soul, is revealed. This is the Yechidah of the godly soul. And through revealing the Yechidah of the godly soul, we transform also the Yechidah of the animal soul, that it too becomes godly. And this shows in the strength, the firmness with which one performs mitzvahs, and the inner enthusiasm, the deep energy and enthusiasm that a person feels for mitzvahs, and the feeling of pleasure, tiny gadol, that comes from serving God. And that is the result of transforming the animal soul, that is basically the capacity for pleasure, transforming it into godliness, so that a person has pleasure from every mitzvah, from every avodah that he does. And concerning worldly things, having and not having become perfectly equal. He's not against having, but he also has no need for it, because in this avodah he has lost his taste and his pleasure for all worldly things.
All right. 60 days to a more spiritual high holiday season, day 47.
Journey continues, day 47. Joy of the water drawing. One of the extraordinary expressions of unbridled joy during Sukkot was called the joy of the water drawing, Simchat Beit HaShe'eva. When the temple stood in Jerusalem, the pouring of the water was an important feature of the festival of Sukkot. Throughout the year, the daily offerings in the temple were accompanied by the pouring of wine on the altar, but on Sukkot, water was poured in addition to the wine. And when it was done with a great joy, an all-night celebration in the temple courtyard. The singing and dancing went on until daybreak, when the merrymakers would make their way to the nearby Shiloach spring to draw the water, which was then brought to the temple. The Talmud declares, one who did not see the joy of the water drawing celebrations has not seen joy in his life. We commemorate this now, even though the temple, the physical temple, is not standing, by celebrating, beginning even the first night of Sukkot, even though during the time of the temple it began with the music the second night. Today we can celebrate without music, but tonight and today, after the 2 days of the holiday, we actually can use musical instruments. So it's become a custom of night-long singing and dancing reminiscent of the celebrations held in the temple courtyard. They are held today throughout the festival in synagogues and streets of Jewish neighborhoods. And it has become a unifying Jewish experience everywhere in the world, these joyous celebrations. But why water? Water seems tasteless. Wine makes sense. Wine brings a person to joy. Says Hasidic thought that water has a profundity that wine does not have. Wine is an expressive experience. You can taste its delectable you can smell its fragrance and taste its delectable taste on your taste buds. Water does not have taste. And that's why it's a celebration that's beyond expression, a celebration of the essential core of a human being. So when you think of a thirsty person, a cup of water is tastier than the most delectable wine. In the spiritual sense, this means that when a soul experiences a thirst for God, when it recognizes how vital its connection to God is, it undergoes an exhilarating experience that is like a feast for its senses. To such a soul, the water it draws from the deepest self to pour onto its altar of service to God is a greater source of joy than any intoxicating wine could ever be. So today, and throughout the days of Sukkot, here's the exercise. Participate in a Simchat Beit HaSha'ova celebration, whether in the street or in a synagogue in your community. Bring your children, bring your family. Let us all join together in this infinite type of dance that expresses the deepest parts of ourselves that are even beyond anything that taste or smell can't access.
All right, fantastic. And now, a word from our sponsor. PestProRidall.com.
PestProRidall.com. Trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidall.com.
Tarzan Group, micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to tarzangroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565. And order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at tarzangroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign@gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications. Logos, wall hangings, Judaica. And you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can contribute even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Elli when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe.
All right, breakfastwithelli.live/tip jar for contributions and patreon.com/theactorsrabbi if you would like to become a sponsor. Now, the closing parsha of both the book of Devarim and the entire Torah, the Zos HaBracha, and this is the blessing, records Moshe's blessing to his people, the finale of his farewell address to them, followed by the vision of Hashem that shows him of the people's future fortunes in their land, and finally, the account of Moshe's death. Now, most of the parsha is devoted to the Bracha. Just as Yaakov's blessing to his sons closed both the account of his life and the book of Breshis, so does Moshe's blessing to his people close the account of his life and his book, the book of Devarim. Also parallel to Yaakov's blessing, Moshe blessed the people collectively and as an aggregate of individual tribes, blessing each one with the unique qualities it would need to fulfill its specific role with regard to the greater good of the nation. In fact, many parallels can be drawn between the blessings of Yaakov and those of Moshe. That being the case, the natural questions that arise are, why did Hashem deem it necessary for Moshe to bless the people when it had already been done by Yaakov so many years before? What did Moshe's blessings add to Yaakov's? Now, before addressing these questions, we would be well to compare these two sets of blessings with the blessings given in the other instance of the Torah, wherein the central figure of one generation blesses the next, which would be Isaac's blessings to Yaakov and Esau. Although Isaac's blessings are shorter than those of Yaakov and Moshe, since there was no differentiation of his progeny into tribes, which would have occasioned unique blessings for each, they are wholly concerned with the bestowal of material plenty and security, intended to provide the recipients with the physical means to fulfill Hashem's will, unencumbered by the worries of earning a livelihood or the threat of war. In contrast, both Yaakov and Moshe's blessings, although including similar wishes for material plenty and security, comprise a relatively equal amount of prophecy, and even in Yaakov's case, reproach. In fact, if we consider all these blessings together, we're going to notice an unfolding progression. The blessings originate in Isaac, pass on to Yaakov, and then are finally channeled through Moshe. In this context, the next natural question is, why didn't this progression begin with Avram? Well, in a sense, it does. We recall that at the beginning of Parshas Lech Lecha, Hashem granted Avram the power to bestow blessing. And in Parshas Chayesara, Avram bequeathed this power to Yitzchak. We further recall that Avram would have blessed Yitzchak had he not foreseen that one of Yitzchak's sons would be unworthy of being blessed. And for this reason, he left it to Hashem to bless Yitzchak, which he immediately did after Avram's death. On a deeper level, however, it was Avram's very nature that prevented him from blessing Yitzchak. It was Yitzchak's nature that made him capable of being the first explicit fount of blessing. Avram, as we call, personified chesed, loving kindness, concern for the spiritual and material welfare of others. Isaac, in contrast, personified gevurah, with restraint, withdrawal, the inner strength required to consolidate and preserve the great undertaking that Avram initiated. His life was epitomized by his project of digging wells, externally, in order to facilitate the growth of already settled communities, which his father's teachings could be put into practice. But more profoundly, his inward orientation needed to be expressed, and that was uncovering his hidden essence along with those around him. Nevertheless, due to the intensity of Yitzchak's gevurah, his blessings had to be funneled through tiferes, beauty and harmony, as personified by Yaakov, who therefore had to both receive and transmit Yitzchak's blessings. Once Yaakov's family had grown into a nation, however, the blessings need to be articulated, this time in a national context. Thus, the difference between Yaakov and Moshe's blessings lies in the difference between their respective roles in the formation of the people. Yaakov, the final and consummate patriarch, was the father of the nation. Moshe, its first leader. So if the two sets of blessings are similar in content, they differ in nature by virtue of their source. One is the blessing of a father to his family. The other, a blessing of the leader to his nation. Now, the ultimate reason, however, that the nation's blessings had to be re-articulated by Moshe is because the conduit of the Torah, and the Torah is the source of all blessing, the Torah is our guide to life, and therefore all physical blessings must be received and utilized according to the Torah's instruction, and only thus can they serve their purpose for us to transform the world into Hashem's holy abode. Moreover, as we will see, Moshe achieved the normally inaccessible 50th gate of understanding. On the day of his death. Now this too constitutes part of the blessing to the people, and explains why both Moshe's vision of the future as seen on Har Nebo, as well as the account of his death, are included in this parsha named blessing, even though the vision of the future is not per se a blessing, and Moshe's death seems to be the very opposite of a blessing. But Moshe succeeded in transmitting to us his supernatural divine perception, which was granted to him only on the moment of his death at Har Nebo. The heightened divine consciousness would be the most sublime blessing possible. The vision of our nation's future that Hashem granted Moshe, up to and including the vision of the final messianic redemption, is a fitting conclusion for the Torah. For as we know, the Torah was given to humanity in order to enable us to make the world into Hashem's home. And this goal will ultimately only be achieved on the advent of the final Geula, redemption. We are taught that Moshe, the first Redeemer, will also be Goel Acharon, the final Redeemer, and that a spark of his soul is present in every generation as the leaders of that generation, as well as in each one of us individually. So Moshe's blessings, which provide us with the means, the impetus, and the vision to fulfill our divine mission and our destiny, bringing the world to its fullest completion, are consummately channeled first through the leaders of our generation, and then through our own selves. And as we look to the Torah as our guide to living life to its fullest, we connect ourselves with Hashem and transform our lives and our world into Hashem's true home, which is all we've ever asked for. All right, in the fourth Aliyah, well, let's go back to the third Aliyah. This section is devoted to the blessing given to the tribe of Yosef. Moshe blessed Yosef with a bountiful portion that will be blessed with ample rain, dew, produce, and delicacies. Yosef is also blessed with unusual ox-like strength, which he would use later to vanquish his enemies. In the fourth Aliyah, Zvulun was blessed with success in his business endeavors and Yisachar in his Torah studies. God was blessed with the strength of a lion who tears off the arm and head of its enemy with one blow, and an expanded portion of the Holy Land. God is then praised for choosing a portion of the eastern bank of the Jordan River, opting to settle in the proximity of Moshe's final resting place, and for leading the troops in battle in the conquest of Canaan. All right. Going back and doing yesterday's Shnayim Yomi and today's. Here we go.
וזאת הברכה עלייה שלישי, discusses Yosef, talking about Yosef, who Yosef was, there was royalty in Yosef. We know already started in Mitzrayim, and we know also from the Barachot of Yaakov Avinu in Parashat Vayechi, it says that Yaakov included Ephraim and Menashe within the Shevet of Yosef. They were included, they were part of that Shevet, and that's why Moshe Rabbeinu says, Vehem rivot Ephraim vehem alfen Menashe, talking about Yosef and the offsprings of Yosef, which are Ephraim and Menashe, that are subcategories of the Shevet of Yosef. And also another idea, it says Bechor shoro hadar lo, which is that Yosef is compared to an ox. Ox is a big and strong animal, and sort of a dominant animal in the animal kingdom. And Mefarshim explained that the reason for that is that Rashi explains is that from Yosef came Yoshua, and Yoshua was one of the leaders of Am Yisrael. He came from Shevet Yosef, and that's the remez of Bechor shoro hadar lo, that the Bechorah, even though he wasn't a Bechor Yosef, but there was a leadership, a certain leadership that was coming out of Yosef, that Moshe was being meramez, was hinting out that really the leadership of Am Yisrael for Tkufa was going to be from Shevet Yosef. וזאת הברכה עליית רביעי. Talks about Zevulun and Gad. And there's a pasuk a famous pasuk that many people know. It says, Semach Zevulun betzetecha v'yisachar ba'alecha. We know that Zevulun lechof yamim yishkon. Zevulun was the businessman. Zevulun was the person that was running the ports of Eretz Yisrael, and he had the bracha of having the tchelet in his part. And the pasuk says, Semach Zevulun betzetecha. Zevulun, be happy with when going out on your excursions, v'yisachar ba'alecha, and yisachar in your tents. The question is, why does it say Smach Zevulun betzetecha? Zevulun, be happy, but by Yisachar it doesn't say anything about being happy. It just says Yisachar ba'alecha, Yisachar in your tents. I heard from one of the Baalei Musar explaining that the concept of a person in Avodat Hashem, many times a person could be in a Bet Midrash learning the entire time, but his mind is waiting to go out to the business world. So it could be his body physically is in the Bet Midrash, but his mind is like, when am I going to make the deals? When am I making my money? When am I going to go out to work and make it big in the world? And you have another person who could be in the workforce, and he could be working 8 to 10 hours a day, but what is he waiting for? He's like, I can't wait to get to my shiur. I can't wait to get to my minyan. I can't wait to have my chavuta. So smach zivulun b'tzetecha means that even though zivulun, you're outside b'tzetecha, but be happy the fact that b'zrat Hashem, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Having parnasa is also a big thing. But when you're doing your parnasa, you know that the parnasa is not the ikar. You know that the reason why you're having your parnasa is in order to support your family, a Torah family, to support your life in a Torah fashion. And really the ikar is the Torah, that hour or 2 or 3 or 4 that you learn during the day. That your mind is really not in the business. Your mind is in the Bet HaMikdash. You're waiting to go back to the Bet HaMikdash, to the Bet HaMikdash of your schedule. And Yisachar Bo'alecha, that a person can also be in the Bet HaMikdash. But if his mind is on the outside, that he's waiting to go out and he's waiting to make the big bucks, it's not as chashuv. A person that's working, but he really wants to go learn Torah, meaning don't feel bad that you're not able to learn the whole day. Not everyone is able to, and that's okay. You have to know where your kochot hanefesh are.
All right. Fantastic. Here's Rabbi Chaim Martyr.
Boker Tov, good morning. Moadim l'simcha, it's Chol Hamoed, and we'll share some Torah about what happened actually, Chol Hamoed. We continue with the 3-minute daily dose of Torah. The Mishnah in the 5th chapter of Masechet Sukkah says the following. Hold on, wrong spot. Here we go. Mi shelo ra'a, kol mi shelo ra'a simchat beit hashoeva, lo ra'a simcha miyamav. Whoever was not there to witness the celebration and the rejoicing around the beit hashoeva, the placing of the drawing, the place of the drawing of the water, if you haven't been there to witness that, you haven't seen joy in your whole life. Wow, what is it that we're talking about? What actually we come to learn is that there was the practice every single year on Sukkot that people would descend into the Kohanim would descend to the waters of the Shiloach pool. If you have been to Jerusalem of late, you you went to the Ir David and some of the work that's been done there. They make your way down to the Shiloach pools, which is already in place. You will now know that there are stairs that have been finally unearthed that take you from there all the way up towards the temple. And those are the ancient stairs that were in place from the times of the temple times. And the waters that would be drawn, we're told, on Sukkot, there would be trumpeting, as the Mishnah describes, at different points along the way, as the water was drawn and eventually brought up into the Beit HaMikdash, where there was a libation that was made at the altar to pour water there around the altar as part of the celebration and part of the prayer that God should bless us with bountiful rains of blessing for the year ahead. That was the celebration, the Simchat Beit HaShoeva, and we're told that if you had not witnessed that, you never saw rejoicing in your life. Tomorrow we'll look very briefly at some of the depictions of the Mishnah, exactly what happened, and indeed it was the most festive description that we could have imagined happening in the Beit HaMikdash. We will share that Torah with you, God willing, tomorrow. Have a great day and a good Moed.
All right. Let's hear what Rabbi Stern has to say today.
In the final parsha of Zot HaBracha, which we lay on Simchat Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu blesses each of the 12 tribes with a unique and individual blessing. Besides 2 brothers that he partners together, Yisachar and Zevulun. And he says to Zevulun, you should be happy and successful in your travels and your business. And Yisachar, you should be successful in your Torah learning. Why does he pair them up? Why doesn't he bless each one of them were their individual blessing. Well, these two were not just brothers, they were actually partners, each one dependent on the other. Yisachar couldn't learn without the financial support of Zevulun. And Zevulun, being a Jew, couldn't just be engaged in business and commerce without spiritual activity and Torah learning that came through Yisachar. Yisachar, when he sat and learned, it wasn't just for himself, it was on behalf of Zevulun as well. And when Zvulun went out to earn a living, it wasn't just for his family, it was for Yisachar and his family too. The Jewish people are divided into these two categories. We have Yisachars, Torah learners, scholars, yeshiva students, rabbonim and educators that are responsible not just to learn, but to teach and inspire others. And then we have Zvuluns, businessmen, who earn a living, not just for themselves, but also to help increase in Torah learning and education in the community. So whichever category you fall into, make sure to look out for your partner and partner together with him. And then we should merit the blessings that Moshe Rabbeinu gives these two brothers on the final day of his life. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.
All right. Rabbi Barber.
After 5,845 verses, 79,973 words, and 304,798 letters, we finally come to the final 7 letters of the Torah. This week, the 54th reading of the Torah, Parshat V'zot HaBracha, the final 7 letters, the final 2 words of the Torah, are Kol Yisrael, all the Jewish people. After studying and reading the Torah on a weekly basis, we have reached the climax, the conclusion of God's Torah, and we conclude with the words, all the Jewish people. The Torah began with the word Bereshit, which our rabbis explain that it alludes to the 2 reasons why God created the world. One of the reasons given is that God created the world because of the Jewish people. The beginning of God's Torah and the conclusion of God's Torah speaks about the centrality and the importance of Am Yisrael, the Jewish people. Ashreinu ma tov chelkeinu, Umanoim goraleinu mayafa Yerushaseinu. 365 days a year, 7 days a week, every morning in our prayers we speak and we thank and we bless God. And we speak about how fortunate we are, how lucky is our lot that we are part of the Jewish people. Or as we say in Yiddish, Oy, es ist so zist zu sein a Yid. It's so beautiful to be a Jew. I'm sure you've experienced this. I have on so many occasions. You're middle of nowhere, you bump into somebody, they look Jewish, and you ask them, are you a Jew? You then discover that you're from Australia, they're from Denmark, you don't speak the same language, you may be totally apart when it comes to Jewish observance, but it's as if you've met a long-lost brother. It reminds me of Morris and Isaac. They're sitting in a bar in Manhattan, and one of them turns to the other and he says, do you know from your accent, it seems to me that you're an Israeli. And he says, yes, I am. Where are you from? He says, I'm from Jerusalem. Wow, that's a coincidence. So am I. I'm from Jerusalem as well. Imagine 2 guys sitting in the bar next to each other, both from Jerusalem. Tell me, where did you graduate high school? Oh, I moved to the States and I graduated at Yeshiva University. That's amazing. So did I. What year? Yeah, tell me, what year did you graduate? I graduated in 1984. He can't believe his luck. Both from Jerusalem, both went to Yeshiva University, and they graduated in 1984, both of them. At that time, Moshe walks into the bar and he sits down, and the bartender walks over to him and he mumbles under his breath, "It's going to be a long night. The Goldberg twins are drunk again." A rabbi was traveling to Israel as a representative of his congregation, and he was going to visit the family of victims of terror. Sitting on the plane, and next to him sitting another Jew, and this Jew is full of tattoos and earrings. And when he discovers why the rabbi is going, he asks the rabbi if he could borrow his talit and his tefillin because he wants to put them on. And when he concludes praying, he says to the rabbi, "You know, I come from Seattle. I'm not quite sure where you could buy a pair of tefillin. But I would make this commitment, because of what you're doing, that I would put on tefillin if I would own a pair." Listening to this conversation is a Jew in the next row. He would be described as an ultra-Orthodox Jew. And if these three Jews would meet, they'd probably have nothing in common. And he says, "I can't stop myself," and I overheard the conversation. "I make a commitment that I will FedEx you a pair of tefillin if you promise and commit, as you just have, that you will wear them every single day." Three Jews, three different walks of life, but really it is three Jews with one heart, one Torah, and one set of black boxes. We must remember and realize as we conclude the reading of God's Torah that the greatest gift that God gave us is you and I, the Jewish family, the Jewish people. It is something that we must cherish. It is something that we must protect. And it is with this idea that God concludes the 5 books of Moses. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you, and especially those who sent in words of encouragement. May the words of God's Torah continue to inspire us and to help us in changing the world, that the world should become a dwelling place for God, and ultimately we should merit the coming of Mashiach and the final redemption. I also would like to dedicate this series to the memory of my late beloved wife, Rivka Chaya Hindo Aliyah Sholem ben Rabosher Halevi Barber. Thank you.
Bittersweet indeed. Definitely bittersweet. All right. I have a piece from Rabbi Shochet that I'd like to play for you. Let's just wait till my computer catches up to me here.
Good morning and welcome.
Single most powerful message of Sukkot is the taking of the 4 kinds, in the way that they represent the idea of all the different Jew types coming together. The etrog is something that has a great taste and a nice smell, representing that wholesome Jew. The palm branch, the lulav, is something that comes from a date tree which has a great taste but has no smell, which represents the Jew who's limited in the way that he might study but doesn't necessarily put it into practice. The myrtle, on the other hand, the hadassim, have a wonderful smell but have no taste, representing the Jew who might find himself observing here and there but has little time for developing his intellectual prowess. And then there are the willow, which have no smell and no taste, representing the Jew who might otherwise seemingly be disconnected or disenfranchised. But on Sukkot, following on from the high holidays, we take all 4 Jew types and we bind them together. The only way the mitzvah is fulfilled is when all Jews are united as one.
I don't know what happened there. I apologize. But that's the concept of Sukkot. All right, let's try and watch Rabbi Label.
The world is made up of disparate elements. We have mineral, we have plant, animal, human, and the spiritual realm. And indeed, in the mineral or inanimate, at last count, there were 118 elements in the periodic table and counting. In the botanic world, we have at least 400,000 species of plants. In the animal world, we have 30 million species. And when you talk about us, there are 8 million. Everything is made up of many, many units. Comes along Sukkot, and Sukkot tells us we take 4 elements of the realms of the world, hold them in one hand. We take the lulav, we take the etrog, we take the myrtle, we take the willow, and we put them in one hand. Why? Because we're saying that although everything is separate, ultimately it's all unified, and the human being is the agent of unifying it, to make it echad and one. Indeed, on Sukkot, we are out in the sukkah. We're out in a rather temporary dwelling. We want to be closer to nature. We want to create a state of oneness with everything around us. So when you go out to the sukkah and you hold these 4 elements and you make the bracha, remember what you're enunciating is a higher truth. There may be millions and millions of species. At the end of the day, every blade of grass comes from the one source. So are you and I.
All right, Tehillim.
לדוד השם, אורי ואישי, אורי ואישי ממהרה.
All right, Tehillim chapter 27, LeDavid Hashem Ari.
David Adonai ro'i v'ishi mimi ira, Adonai ma'oz chayai mimi evchad, Bekrov alai mireim lechol es besari, Zorai ve'oivai li, hema kashlu v'nafalu, Im tachane alai machane, lo yira libi, Im takum alai milchama, bezos ani voteach, Achas sho'alti me'es Adonai, Osa avakesh, Shivti beves Adonai, Kol yemei chayai, Lachazos b'noam Adonai, Ulevaker beheichalo, Ki itzpeneni besuko, B'yom ra'a yastireni, B'seiser aholo, B'tzur yiromemeni, Ve'ata yarum roshi al oevai sevivosai, Ve'zbecha ve'aholo ziv chesrua, Ashira v'azamer al Adonai, Shma Adonai koli ekra, V'choneni va'aneni, Lecha amar libi, Bakshu fanai, Es panecha Adonai avakesh, Al taster panecha mimeni, Al tat be'af avdecha, Ezrasi hayisa, Al titsheni, Ve'al ta'azeveni Elohei ishi, Ki avi v'imi azavuni, V'Adonai ya'asefeni, Horini Adonai darkecha, Unecheni be'orach mishor, Leman shorerai, Al titeneni b'nefesh tsarai, Ki kamu vi ede sheker, v'yifeach chamas, Lule hemanti liros b'tuv Adonai, Be'eretz chayim, Kavei el Adonai, Chazak v'ya'ameitz libecha, V'kavei el Adonai.
All right, Tanya.
Tanya.
Moadim l'simcha. A person who finds themselves in a situation of suffering, God forbid, should engage in introspection, analyzing themselves and their actions to discover any averas that might require suffering to correct and cleanse. When a person does this, they will come in contact with Hashem's tremendous ahava, love for them, like the analogy of a great and powerful king who personally cleans the filth from his son out of his endless love from him. Then, as water reflects a face, face reflects face. A divine Avas Hashem will be aroused within the heart of the person who has suffered, and this ahava, this love, is more precious than all the kinds of life of all the worlds, both spiritual and material, because the chesed, the kindness manifested in the cleansing, in the cleansing suffering that the person experienced, is the source of life for all worlds. Once a person reaches this perspective, then suffering and their challenges will be transformed into revealed good and a revealed ahava, and no longer need to be hidden in the form of rebuke. Hashem's ahava for them will become openly manifest, and the gevuras, the severities, will be sweetened at their source, forever nullifying the divine expression of severity. So, XYD, examine your deeds. All right? All right, Rambam, Sefer HaMitzvahs.
No, it's not impossible that Rebbe did say, just study Rambam each and every day. I'll never miss my daily Rambam. My Rebbe so desires, I'm not busy or too tired. When I learn Rambam connected, I remain, I am a link in the Rebbe's golden chain.
All right, Mitzvah Minute number 144, I believe. Hold on, I might be wrong. Let me just make sure I've got the right one here. Where are my glasses? I don't know. They're out there someplace. No, today should be 147. All right, if I don't have it here, I'm going to get it for you in just a minute. I know I have it. 147. Here we go.
Yesterday we learned that if one has grain or crop growing. Today, those studying 3 chapters a day of the Rambam's Mishnah Torah complete his 7th book and begin the 8th. The mitzvahs with which the Rambam closes his 7th book pertaining to the laws of agriculture are the ones that surround the tribe of Levi. Negative mitzvah number 169 is that the tribe of Levi may not receive a portion specifically for them in the land of Israel. Negative mitzvah 170 is that the Leviim are prohibited from taking any of the spoils of war that are fought in Israel. Positive mitzvah number 183 states that because the Leviim have no portion in the land of Israel, we are to assign them a total of 48 cities throughout the land of Israel where the tribe of Levi should live. Negative mitzvah number 228 is that the Torah describes a specific design by which these cities of the Leviim are to be constructed, and no Levi is to ever change that design or that structure of these specific cities. The first mitzvah of the Rambam's 8th book, which he calls the Book of Avoda, which means the service in the Holy Temple, is positive mitzvah number 20, and that is the commandment to actually build the Holy Temple. The purpose of building this temple in Jerusalem would be so that we could offer sacrifices there and celebrate there 3 times a year as the Torah dictates.
All right. Matters of Mashiach. All right, hold on one second here. That's awesome. All right, let me get out of there. Fantastic. All right, 17th day of Tishrei, peeling back the shells. The Yechida, this innermost self, is qualitatively different than the other 4 aspects of the soul, which are action, emotion, intellect, and desire. These 4 aspects are all specific expressions of the self, while the Yechida, this oneness, transcends specific expressions. This is from Hasidic philosophy. Everything has its divine essence, a pure godly core. Hasidus teaches us that this essence is the spark of Mashiach. We all possess this spark, but it's covered by many different layers. Our task in life is to peel back these layers and reveal who we really are. Therefore, the concept of Mashiach is being true to your real self. Paradoxically, this is both the simplest and the most difficult task on earth. I think we have some schmaltzy for today. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. I think schmaltzy is here in New York for Yom Tov. Yeah. All right, let's go.
I want to share something with you guys. The owner of the place where I'm at right now opened his house and serves food 24/7 throughout this month, the month of the holidays, for all who are hungry to come and eat. I want to share with you what's going on here. This is pure kindness. We have to learn from him. Literally like Abraham, Avram Avinu. We all have to learn from this and give from what Hashem gives us to all those around us.
All right. And that's his, yeah, that's really cool, right? It's true. It really, really is. All right. We are in the intermediate days of Sukkot.
I'm having trouble hearing. Can you say that again?
Cancel. We do not wear tefillin during Chol Hamoed because we say Keser. We recite the Musaf for the Sholosh Regalim for the holidays. We add the verse that's applicable to the days of Sukkot. Do not forget to say the Sheish Schiros, the 6 remembrances. We are in the year of Hakel. It's a time to make gatherings, and we will be making one here in New York City tomorrow night. If you are in New York City and you would like to attend our grand Hakel gathering here in Riverdale in honor of Simchas Beis HaShoeva, and specifically in honor of the yahrzeit of my dear mother, it's the 35th anniversary of her passing, we will be doing that here in our big sukkah downstairs here in Riverdale. Please just contact me for more information. Do not forget to bench the lulav and esrog, to make the bracha over the lulav and esrog. And if you are going out, take your lulav and esrog with you. You'll encounter somebody who hasn't made a bracha yet, and you'll inspire them to make a bracha. And that's really, really important. All right? Here are PSAs. All right. Masbia Soup Kitchen and Food Pantry, available for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, I don't know. That might not be true anymore. They were open 24 hours a day. Just check. Text the word food to 726-879, 726-879, and you can get, all right, we did that one. And you can get 7 days worth of pantry food and hot meals every single day, all right? Text the word food to 726-879, 726-879. In upstate New York, in Rockland County, and in Lakewood, it's tomcheishabbos.org, tomcheishabbos.org, and the organization tomche.org. Do not confuse them. In Chicago, it's the Chicago Center Kitchen at breakfastwithelli.live/Chicago Food Bank, and our new compiled brand new master kosher soup kitchen list, the master list at breakfastwithelli.live/soup kitchens, breakfastwithelli.live/soup kitchens. All right. Achiezer.org is available 24/7. It's an amazing organization. If you need help, they can help you with pretty much anything related to daily living. Hatzalah.org is available 24/7, 365 at any of these phone numbers or by going to hatzalah.org online. Misaskim, started by the late Yankee Meyer. Misaskim.org, or their 24-hour emergency hotline at 718-854-4548. And Just One Shabbos, an amazing organization that helps to bring back teenagers to the beauty of keeping Shabbos. Or, God forbid, the victim of or see a hate crime in progress, you need to call 911 immediately without hesitation, and even on Shabbos and Yom Tov. All right. You know how I feel about it. I'm not even going to talk about it.
Really much to ask. Tie some fabric around your face. Oh, it's the simplest
numbers are going up.
tasks.
We
At
are
the gym,
getting
at the
into
store. Don't
the
treat
cold
it
and
like
flu
such
season,
a chore.
and numbers are going up already. So let's not emulate Europe. Let's be careful, okay? So important. All right. Get your vaccinations. They're available. Everybody can get them. Go out and get them. All right. Don't wait. Don't wait till it is too late. All right. Bring some heaven down to earth. Right. Right. All right. Confidence is best found among the truly humble. Moshe was the most humble of all men, yet he had the confidence to stand before the mightiest dictator on earth and assert his demands. He had the confidence to stand before Hashem and listen without losing his composure. He had the confidence even to argue with God when necessary. Yet he considered himself to be nothing. The confidence of Moshe was not confidence in his own self. He had no self. He was but an agent of above. Above, there's infinite power. Self-confidence is limited at best. But if you trust in the one who has sent you to be here and do what you need to do, that confidence knows no bounds. Think about that. Confidence that doesn't come from self. I know. Crazy thought, right? Come to me on any of the Actors Rabbis groups at Clubhouse, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Spotify, WhatsApp, or at theactorsrabbi.com, where you can take care of the life coaching services offered at our website. There's the Ushpies, and I thought I'd leave that up there for you today to see. It's just in the way right now. All right, let's make an after bracha. Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam boirei nefashos rabois v'chesronan al kol ma sheborosa lachayos bohem nefesh kol chai baruch chei ha'olamim. All right. Well, here we go. Chol Hamoed Sukkot. First day, Chol Hamoed Sukkot. Tomorrow I have Yartzeit. Tomorrow night I have Yartzeit. So we'll be celebrating that a little bit on Friday, the actual day of the Yartzeit. Thank you to my Patreon sponsors, Pest Pro Riddle, Tarzan Orchids, Dina D Design, Dr. Susan Spitzer, Bracha Biederman. You can become a Patreon sponsor by going to patreon.com/theactorsrabbi or breakfastwitheli.live/tip jar if you'd like to just contribute a one-time contribution to our campaign to bring Torah to the whole world. All right. Yossi Cohen, the amazing Rabbi Yossi Cohen from Crown Heights, has a brand new Simchas Beis HaShoeva song with the Capella Choir. It's the official Nigun of the year. It's called Reb Yankel Dokshitz's Nigun. I know from the town of Dokshitz in Rusland, in Russia. It's an old Hasidic Nigun. but it's got a new twist to it, and I know you're gonna just want to get up and dance. So do it. Go out and do something nice, something good for someone today. In the words of Rabbi Isaac Hamler, have affection for a fellow. Hashem will have affection for you. Do a kindness for a fellow. Hashem will do a kindness for you. Befriend a fellow, and Hashem will befriend you. Moedim l'simcha, a good moed, a wonderful, wonderful Sukkot. Everything that you need should happen, and go out there and do some mitzvah and get people to Ben Shluv and Esrog and eat in a sukkah. That's your mission of the day. And come back tomorrow. If you're in New York City, contact me about coming to our Simchas Beis HaShoeva Hakel Yartzeit celebration tomorrow night. We have plenty of room, plenty of food, plenty of drink. All right? See you then. Talk to you in the morning. Have a great and glorious day.
La 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 la